Good afternoon and good evening, my dear and lovable students. In our first accounting class, we saw an overview of the accounting process. Accounting process means the procedure we follow in accounting subject to find out profit or loss, assets or liabilities. In the second class, we learn about the meaning of accounting. Well, now learn about transactions and events. Transaction. Transaction means those activities which involves with two persons or two accounts. Trans means activity. In accounting, transactions are classified into two types. One is monetary transaction and another one is non-monetary transaction. Next one. Monetary transaction means which can be measured in terms of money. Which can be measured in terms of money. Under non-monetary transaction, transactions which cannot be measured in terms of money. Cannot be measured in terms of money. Under monetary transactions, only monetary transactions are recorded in the books of accounts. Recorded in the books of accounts. Under non-monetary transaction, cannot be recorded in the books of accounts. Cannot be recorded in the books of accounts. Now, let us understand in detail using examples difference between monetary transaction and non-monetary transaction. Monetary transaction means which can be measured in terms of money. Example: car purchased for cash rupees 10 lakhs. So what is the value of the transaction? 10 lakhs. What is whether car value can be measured in terms of money? Yes. So it is a monetary transaction. Second example, mobile recharge. So which can be measured in terms of money. Example, you have done mobile recharge of 800. It's a monetary transaction. Netflix subscription paid 1200 per annum. Netflix subscription paid 1200 per annum through Google Pay. So it is a monetary transaction which can be measured in terms of money. So what is the value of the transaction value? 1200. Non-monetary transaction means which cannot be measured in terms of money. I can give best example, love and affection, which cannot be measured in terms of money. Love and affection towards parents, towards friends, towards relatives. So we cannot measure in terms of money. Mummy, I love you 100 crores worth of love. So we cannot measure in terms of money. Quarrel between employees, we cannot measure in terms of money. Monetary transaction. In accounting, monetary transactions are two types. Cash transaction, credit transaction. So under cash transaction we are having three possibilities. Under credit transaction, we are having two possibilities. Let us look at what are the three possibilities or three situations under cash transaction, where the word cash is given in the transaction. Where the word cash is given in the transaction. Second situation, where both the word cash and person name is given in the transaction. Third possibility, if nothing is said in the transaction. So under cash transaction, how many situations? Three situations or three possibilities. Next one, under credit transaction, we are having two possibilities. Number one, where the word credit is given in the transaction. Where the word credit is given in the transaction. Number two, where only person name is given in the transaction. So in accounting, monetary transaction are classified into two types: cash transaction and credit transaction. Under cash transaction, three possibilities. Under credit transaction, two possibilities. Under monetary transaction, there are two types of transaction: cash transaction and credit transaction. Under cash transaction, there are three possibilities. Under credit transaction, there are two possibilities. Now, we will go over the various cash and credit transaction possibilities in greater detail. Cash transaction analysis. Under cash transaction analysis, we are having three possibilities. First possibility is where the word cash is given in the transaction. We will learn through example. Prabhas sold his building to Pavan Kalyan for cash rupees 100 crores. First, identify the transaction, whether it is a monetary transaction or non-monetary transaction. Yes, here building value is measured in terms of money. What is the value of the building? 100 crores. So it is a monetary transaction. Next, what is the condition number one? Where the word cash is given in the transaction. So condition number one satisfied. It is a cash transaction. Answer: monetary transaction. It is a cash transaction. Example number 2. KCR purchased a farmhouse from Modi for cash rupees 100 crores. KCR purchased a farmhouse from Modi for cash rupees 500 crores. So first identify whether the given transaction is monetary transaction or non-monetary transaction. It is a monetary transaction because farmhouse value is measured in terms of money, 500 crores. The answer is it's a monetary transaction and it is a cash transaction. My dear students, keep in mind to decide whether the given transaction is cash or credit transaction. Here 100 crores or 500 crores will not decide whether it is a cash or credit transaction. 100 or 500 crores is the value of the transaction. We need to check the terminology used in the transaction to decide cash or credit transaction. So we will learn second possibility where both the word cash and person name is given in the transaction. It will be considered as a cash transaction. We will learn through example. Alia Bhatt purchased a handbag from Gangubai for cash rupees 5 lakhs. First decide whether the given transaction is monetary or non-monetary transaction. So what is the value of the handbag? 5 lakhs. To decide whether the cash transaction or credit transaction, we need to check the terminology used in the transaction. Here the word both person name and the word cash is used in the transaction. So which condition? Second condition is satisfied. So it is a cash transaction. Alia Bhatt is having good collection of expensive bags. Nana. Alia Bhatt is always in the news when it comes to expensive bags. Now we will learn the third situation where if nothing is said in the transaction. What do you mean nothing is said in the transaction? Where the word cash or person name is not given in the transaction, it will be treated as cash transaction. Example, Netflix subscription rupees 1200. Here the word person name or cash is not given in the transaction. It will be assumed as a cash transaction. Mobile recharge rupees 800. Here the word cash or person name is not given in the transaction. Electricity bill. Here the word cash or person name is not given in the transaction. It will be treated as cash transaction. Remember, whenever the word cash or person name is not given in the transaction, it will be treated as cash transaction only. Let us learn credit transaction possibilities. Possibility number 1, where the word credit is given in the transaction. Credit transaction analysis. Here there are two possibilities, Nana. One is the word credit or only person name is given in the transaction. It will be treated as credit transaction. Example, Vijay Mallya purchased a car on credit rupees 60 lakhs. Here the word credit is given in the transaction. It will be treated as credit transaction. Example number 2. Dilip Kumar purchased a land from Talapati Vijay on credit. Here the word credit is given in the transaction. It will be treated as credit transaction. Here the word cash is not given or nothing is said in the transaction. Here the word credit is used. Now let us learn credit transaction second possibility, where only person name is given in the transaction. Allu Arjun sold his bike to Ramcharan for rupees 25 lakhs. My dear students, please keep in mind, when only person name is given in the transaction, it will be treated as credit transaction. Students, now I will give you two examples. Please listen carefully. We will get clarity over what is cash transaction and credit transaction. Imagine your mother gave you ₹1,000 to bring groceries along with a list of products to buy from a nearby store. Now you went to the store to buy biscuits, soaps, sugar and pulses, and the bill was around ₹900. You paid the cash and returned home. This is example number 1. Example number 2. Imagine your mother telling you about to bring groceries and a list of things to buy on credit from a nearby store. Now you went to the store and spent roughly 900 on biscuits, soap, sugar and pulses. You are addressing the shopkeeper. Auntie, I did not bring any money. Okay, beta. Now, auntie gathering information about you, where you live, what is your father name. You answered all of her questions, and at the end, she responded, "Oh, beta, I did not recognize you since you are a grown up. I saw you as a child a long time ago." My dear students, in the first example, did the shopkeeper ask you about your name or any other personal information? The answer is no. Why? Because cash is settled immediately. It's relevant whom you are. You can imagine your Panipuri while you're traveling in auto, while you're traveling in bus. They'll ask your name. Bus conductor will ask, "What's your name? Where do you stay?" No. My dear students, why did auntie ask about your personal detail in the second example? Since the cash will be settled at a future date, there is a risk of forgetting or having a quarrel. Therefore, she must keep track of all your information. From above two examples, we can conclude when you're selling something on credit or when you're buying something on credit, person name is very, very important. When cash is settled immediately, it's irrelevant to whom you are sold, from whom you are buying. Now, let us learn about events. Events are the results of the transaction. Events are results arising out of transactions. Assume your father purchased 100 kgs of rice on 1st January. You consumed 92 kgs of rice. Only 8 kgs remained on 31st December. At the year end, only 8 kgs left over, or the balance was 8 kgs. The balance 8 kgs is the event. Purchasing 100 kgs of rice is in a transaction. The leftover 8 kgs is called event. Note, all transactions are events, but all events are not transaction. Purchasing is a transaction. Leftover 8 kgs is an event. Summary notes about transactions and events. What do you mean by transaction? Those activity which involves with two persons or two accounts. In accounts, how many types of transactions are there? There are two types of transaction: monetary transaction, non-monetary transaction. Only monetary transaction means which can be measured in terms of money. Non-monetary transaction means which cannot be measured in terms of money. Only monetary transactions are recorded in the books of account. Non-monetary transactions are not recorded in the books of accounts. In accounting, monetary transactions are classified into two types: cash transaction, credit transaction. Under cash transaction, three possibilities. Under credit transaction, two possibilities. Next one, events. Events are the results arising out of transactions. Punchline: all transactions are events, but all events are not transaction. It is like this. This statement is like, I love you, but I am not in love with you. Please share this video with your friends if you enjoyed it. If you are new to our channel, don't forget to click the subscribe button. Please stay tuned for new videos. Please give a thumbs up. Thank you for your time, and I will see you in the next video, which will cover basic accounting terms.